Facebook? So cold. Shalom, Chaverim. I believe we are well. Baruch Hashem from the family of Botzina Kadisha in Yerushalayim. We are well. We don't have much more time today to start with halachot, as it is the case. We will go to our usual limud on the letter of RamBa to his son. For those who did not follow us on this letter looks and sounds very simple on the surface. But when you sit down and cogitate, meaning think deeply, you would see that it's not about only emunah. RamBa is all has taught his child, or his son, about how to navigate this life. But the entire body is about our midot, meaning our character traits. We are required to improve, to repair, in line with what the Torah requires us. We know that man is called Olam Katan, a small world. Everything everything physical, everything spiritual is reflected in the composition of man. He has got 248 organs and limbs, and the 365 bones, which are corresponding to the mitzvot. A man has to perform, to do, and not to do in this world. So in a broader sense, and at a sort level, we know that our mission is to repair the 7 kings that are reflected everywhere in the Torah or in the Tanakh. Last week we dealt with a portion number 8, which, according to the commentaries on this portion, remind And they remind us that every man must always be aware where he's coming from, where he is, and where he is going. So our subject is humility. Anava in Hebrew. It's only upon attaining humility we will be able to repair, because humility itself is also a character trait. It's an attribute that we are taught to have, to internalize, to inculcate within our nature. Pre-Avos, this very portion of last week, which we have dealt, is quoting Pre-Avos, chapter 3. And the chapter 6 of the same Pre-Avos, chapter 6, Mishnah 6. It speaks about the ways or the qualities to attain the Torah. It speaks about 48 qualities one should have or acquire in order to acquire Torah. We didn't say that, yes, before in our previous limud. Just something to add, because we are going to deal with it later in our portion of today. Today we deal with portion number 9. Portion number 9 is reads as follows in Hebrew. Velifnei mi ata atid liten din vecheshbon lifnei melech hakavod. Translation. So you could see in the page, in the group, it is this sense of humility which reminds you and myself. Now this is RamBa addressing it to his son, which reminds you of the one before whom you will be called for judgment, the King of glory. The commentaries. This is a statement.
Are you recording? Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think there's a problem with the network before it connects.
Oh. Yeah, because I don't see anyone here. This statement is also based on the word of Akivia Beni Mehalalel is one of the sage cited above. Is based on a Mishnah, the Mishnah that we have quoted and we have learned from on our last limud, who conclude his list of deterrents to sin with this advice. Remember before whom you are destined to be summoned for judgment, and accounting before the King of Kings, the Holy One, blessed is he. The Vinda Gaon, one of the sages, questions why the Tana repeat himself by using two terms to describe the final reckoning. What are those terms? Guess what? He did not use the word. He said terms. Din, meaning a judgment. And cheshbon, meaning accounting. He explained that judgment is rendered for a sinful act, which was actually committed, while accounting is an additional reckoning that will be made of the positive deed which could have been accomplished. When the energy used, with the energy used to sin. One will be called to task, not only for sin itself, but for the tragic misuse of his precious time and energy. In this way, Rabbi Israel Salander once chastens a man who physically attacked his neighbor. The rabbi informed the ruffian that he had committed two serious crimes or sins. First, you struck and harmed a fellow human being. Second, the energy you spent to accomplish this crime could have been could have been used constructively. This waste is a grave offense as well. Let's read one passage, and we are going to elaborate. Under the heading, laundering the royal robe, or robes. Rabbi Chaim of Volodzin, Rachaim, based, it's another sage, cite Masechet Shabbat, 125 bet, which present a parable of a king who lent his garment to two groups of men. One group carelessly returned the clothes to the king, soiled, battered and tarnished. The wise men, however, gave everything back in better condition. Then they received it. The royal robes were laundered and sparkling, white and regalia, polished to a dazzling shine. The Talmud described that God too lends every human being a fragment of his glory, a celestial soul. Fools sully their souls with the blemishes of transgression, while the wise polish them with mitzvot. On the day of reckoning, transgressors will be summoned to judgment for tarnishing their divine soul, and they will be subjected to an accounting for failing to enhance them. Let's stop for a while here on this letter. Remember, we are dealing with humility. Probably you do recall that throughout the portion we have covered, welcome. Okay. Welcome, and yeah. Ma? Oh, welcome, Emuna. I hope you are well.
Shalom, Rav.
So we are on the letter of Ramban to his son, under the heading Anava, humility. We have dealt with portion 8 on our last limud. Today, we are dealing with portion number 9. Number 9, the main theme in number 9 is in a commentary, channeling the energy. What is I wanted to develop the idea that is in Masechet Brachot. A page has been sent to you. Concentrate on what I have highlighted there. And probably because of time, Baruch Hashem.
Say that you don't say the halacha like this, you have your hour.
Baruch Hashem, Toda Rabba, Rabbi, Toda Rabba. I wanted to develop the idea about humility and what causes a human being to have the opposite. Because throughout the portion we have dealt with, what was exactly addressed first? What was addressed first is about ka'as, anger. And the second that was addressed in the letter or in the portions is fear, Irat Hashem. We know that the Ramban, all of the commentaries there, it says, an arrogant person, Gassi, say the Gassi, arrogant, Gasut Ruach. So the Masechet, the page that was sent to you, it says the son of David will not come until arrogancy ceases to be in a Jewish nation. It means we have got a kind of arrogancy. So arrogancy was also part of Ramban's letter that we have dealt with. We have also seen the hidden message into all these character traits. And then the letter turns to concept humility. In Masechet Brachot, Toda Rabba, Rabbi, Toda Rabba, Toda Rabba. Wow. Oh, this is very tasty coffee. Come to the land of Israel to test the sweetness of the land of Israel. I read the Gemara, Masechet Brachot. It reads as follows: Amar Rabbi Yitzchak. Rabbi Yitzchak said, Kol hakore Kiryat Shema al mitato mazikin bedelin hemenu. Anyone who recites Shema upon his bed Mazikin. Bedelim emun. Shenema. Demons. Stay away from him. This is alluded to as it is stated. Uvene Reshef. Reshef. Reshef?
Resef.
Resef. Resef. Yagibihu uf. Ve'en uf. Ela Torah Shenemar. Hata if eneka bo venenu ve'en resef. Ela mizikin Shenemar. Meze Ra'av uluchumei resef. Veketev merid. Let's look at what is really, I mean, not really, but what it says here. This is alluded to as it is stated. But man is born to trouble. And the sparks, Reshef, meaning fly, move upward, is quoted in Eov, chapter 5, verse 7. The verse is explained. The word fly, oof, means nothing than the Torah. As the Torah is difficult to grasp and easy to lose, like something that floats away, as it is stated. You will set your eyes upon it. Will you set your eyes upon it? It is gone. For each certainly make themselves wings, like an eagle that flies into the heavens. This is Proverbs, as you could see there. Another opinion. The word sparks means nothing other than demons, as it is stated. Wasting of hunger, and the devouring of the sparks, Reshef, and the bitter destruction, Ketev Merid, and the teeth of beast, I will send upon them with the venom of crawling things of the dust, as it is also recorded. I mean, he said in the Devarim, you could see there, Devarim 32, Pasuk 24. Here we see Resef listed along with Ketiv Merid, both which are understood by the sages to be names of demons. Once upon a time, I learned from my Rosh Yeshiva, Bozina Kadisha, Rabbi Pinchas, based on the teaching of Rabbi Ben Shchai on Mishlei chapter 4. There are 5 qualities indicated there. The 5th one is when a person is no longer feeling hot or feeling cold. That means he left the sense of feeling. In other words, he became one of the Sheidim, which many people called demons. What makes a person to be like that? What makes a person to lose the sense of hot or heat or cold? I wanted to believe it's about the lust. The lust of something. The last, or not the last, but the desire. That is the last. Yeah, the last. L-U-S-T, last. When you lust for something, you will lose the sense of what was described in the Mishle. This, the letter of RamBa is about the midot. Tikkun midot, rectifying, repairing the midot. We will see, or you can see there in the pages, on the page, and particularly the passage that we did not read. In our world, we don't realize that character trait can turn somebody into a shade, meaning a demon. We don't know that. Because when you lose the sense of humanity, for example, through seeking and pursuing for power and the accumulation of wealth, these desires, this is very strong desires, will turn you into something. And that something is demon. To the point that you would consider yourself as the only one, nothing else but you. You would see yourself that everything that you have acquired in life, everything, all in your achievement is by yourself. Yes, there are demons, yes. There is a midrashim that even says, many shaidims, or shaidim, were created between Shabbat, the twin light, between Shabbat and the Yom Shishi. Between Friday and before Shabbat kicks in. And these are the forces that do not have the physical body. But there are demons that have got physical body. And this has also, like this week, this is the subject that my Rosh Yeshiva has been teaching us throughout this week and before. You also have got a demon within yourself. And I remember my Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Pinchas, said it to us some time ago, that the demons, that my demon, to a certain extent, can also save me. Because that demon also needs me to fix it. But what if? But could I really fix a demon without a Torah? I guess it's not possible. You cannot fix the demon, your own demon. The only tool that is at your disposal is when you have got a Torah. But how could you have a Torah if you do not have humility, and it says in a Pirkei Avos, chapter 6, Mishnah 6, it says you must have 48 qualities to acquire Torah. And guess what? What is 48? It's Cham. Now, I have learned from Rabbi Pinchas, my Rosh Yeshiva. 90% of the sort, the Torah of the sort, we are talking about Kitvei Ari, we are talking about the Zohar by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. It's about Cham. It's connected to Cham. All these sages that we are referring to have been to Africa, have been with the children of Cham. Because the Torah that we have now, the Torah of Bet, was also given in Africa by a man, Moshe, who has been a king and was born in Africa. When he gave the Torah of Aleph, represented by the first Luchot, it was ishmashed because the people then did not deserve the Torah of Aleph. Again, the question is humility. The Torah describes a stiff-necked people, a stiff-necked people. It can be you, it can be me. We do not need to go far, just listen to what the people are saying. A person who is, for example, after honor, is easy to identify. An arrogant person is easy to identify in any area of life. You cannot acquire the sort, the Torah of Aleph, without going or without acquiring the Torah of Bet, meaning the Torah of death. You can put it that way. So, the demons, your demon, my demon, cannot be simply repaired if I do not have the Torah. I should learn the Torah to enable acquire the Torah. Or I mean, not to acquire the Torah, to enable me repair my demons. Now, there are Shadim that are also good. Shadim can also be good. I can tell you one. Just for you to relate it to. King Shlomo, in Masechet Gittin, I wanted to believe it's Dav 6:8. It speaks about King Shlomo, for him to build the first Beit Mikdash, he has to learn some knowledge from the chief of the demons. Demons were created for a specific purpose. And there are also destructive demons that you and I could also create. How do we create them? Is when, for example, we forget to recite the Shema. How do we create them? Is when I engage myself into Zera Levatara. How so? Zera Levatara is not about releasing the seed out of the, or through the lower Yesod. But it can also by speaking. We create. When we speak, we create. Lashon hara, we create. All these things, and many more that we did not explain, create destructive demons. Can
There's someone.
Can
You just clicking you want to enter.
okay.
There's
That's it.
that ringers and you just
This one,
click
Nicole?
they can.
Welcome, Elizabeth, and welcome.
No, I'm making some fingers on my finger.
There, and welcome, Himadia Eliyahu.
Shalom, shalom, Rabbi, shalom, shalom.
Tzadikim, tzedakot. We are pursuing the letter of Ramban. Let's come to something on the last passage I have highlighted there. As you could see in the page, I have highlighted the word celestial soul. Let's play a little bit. Men consist of 3 components. Remember, we are dealing with the concept, the idea of anava, meaning humility. Sadiq, in your beautiful handwriting, mine is not that so good.
What do you think like?
Nefesh, Sikhri, Nefesh, Yesodi, and the Guf. Yes,
Yeah, make it small.
Nefesh.
Make it smaller.
Toda.
So you make it in circles? How do you want me to do it? Just write it or make it like in circles?
No. Just write
write
it.
it.
Yeah, and then we deal with it circles later.
Okay. Sikhli.
And Nefesh, Yesodi,
Nefesh. I'll just do different color.
These are the things that for those who have been in the train with us.
Last one.
The last one is Guf. For those who have been with us in the train, it's not new. Just simply bring the picture, connecting the dots for you to enable you understand the concept of humility, how to acquire it, and the opposite. Todaraba, Sadiq. Todaraba. In the passage that we just left off before we continue, no, not before we continue, we just ended there. You could see where I have highlighted with orange, a celestial soul. First of all, man has got three components. It's not just a body. A body is a vessel. The first one, that passage, according to the parable. Who wants it to end the year now? No, there's no blue. No, there's no blue here. The parable given about a king who gave the royal garment or robes to the two groups of people. It's an analogy to enable us understand that we are not a body, not what the Greeks have taught and contaminated the world. In fact, they have turned the world resident into demons. Because if you do not know who you are, truly you are a shade. So he says, it's not what I'm saying, it's written there. We will see in the Barim, in the Barim 32, Pasuk 17. I think the Pasha is Azin. There says they sacrifice it to the demons. Sacrifice to the gods, which are demons, the Shadim. So Rashi in that pasuk says, the gods that we did, which the forefathers did not know, the new arrivals. One of the Mekubarim I was privileged to meet in life, he says, look at the world, the most prominent world ideas and ideologies. Behind them, of those ideologies, you find a Jew. You find a Jew. They create something, and that the world is flocking to embrace these ideas. Huh? Facebook? You said? One of my Rabbanim here said, even in Facebook, look at how we waste our time. Remember, it says there, Din and the Cheshbon. Two concepts, two terms introduced there. Din and the Cheshbon. How much time do we waste at Facebook? We waste the time. There, the sages even are saying, it's not about you committing that sin. It's about abusing the power that you were given into something so worthless. Meaning, anything that you exert your energy into or for, it may be constitute wasting of the energy that should have been spent or expanded into Torah learning. I wanted to have this. I wanted to pursue this. One of the rabbi here in Botsina Kadisha delivered his shiur and said, look at the education system. From a specific stage to another stage, no one is asking you about your opinion. You are bombarded with ideas. In other words, those ideas truly are not there to benefit you at all, to discover yourself. But the Torah will enable you to discover who truly you are, where you are coming from, where you are, and the way you are returning. Let's go back to the board. Nefesh Sichri. This is Eloha. If I'm Eloha Nachon. This is the higher soul that Hashem has given, has lowered to this world. A very, very higher soul, Eloha. And there comes the Eloha is given to a different vessel. What is this different vessel? The second vessel, called Nefesh Yesodi. In the Nefesh Yesodi is where all the character traits of men are being brewed. The sender of all human character traits are manufactured. And there is where the opposite of humility stems from. Nefesh Yesodi. There, arrogance, anger, pride is there. And there, once acquire those character traits, a person become arrogant. A person turns truly himself into a shade. And even his own shade will become a problematic to him. Is when he does not recognize that there is a judgment, there is a din, and there will be cheshbon at the end of time. It's in the second, the red one. But all these two must descend to a vessel. What is that vessel? Guf. Guf. B'ezrat Hashem, we will deal with this guf. I give a hint at a later stage. May not be now, but B'ezrat Hashem Om Yom Rishon. When you look at the word guf, what comes to our mind? How many letters do we see there? 3, right? We have got Gimel, and we have got Vav, and we have got Pei Shofit, meaning pay. If I just remove the Gimel, then I have got 86, right? 86 reminds us of Elohim, right? So in other words, even your body, just like the word it says, your body is not truly yours in the sense of the word. Nothing is yours. You and I have got nothing. Like one of the rabbi says, we came into this world, we had nothing when we came to this world. And then when we leave, we take nothing with us. The only thing that we take with is the mitzvot. What is mitzvot? The Torah. That's only we can take from this world. But we added nothing when we came. B'ezrat Hashem. And can you see now, you have got 3 levels indicated by Gimel. And B'ezrat Hashem, we will, with the time, we will deal with it. So, The goof is a vessel of the two. Souls. Yes, the fashot. So when in this letter, when the parable, the parable about two garments, or a garment or robes, royal robes, it refers to this. It says robes, not just one, robes. All these are robes. Shalom.
Friends with you on Facebook. Just want to say shalom. Larry Shepherd up on Facebook.
Nice to meet you.
Shalom.
Shalom. Oh. So when the soul has finished its journey on this plane of existence, it goes back. Now, when it goes back, tainted, blemished by our own sins, by our own conduct, improper conduct, for that matter, what will happen to the king who gave you? Look at it from a human perspective, because it some way they say the kingdom of heaven is run according, or the kingdom of if you wanted to know what the kingdom of heaven, how it is run, it's being run. Look at how the kingdom of men is being run. If the king, or your president, or your prime minister, if you have one, gives you such a noble garment for a specific occasion, and you come back and you return it, and they say, here it is. After you have enjoyed your cholent, after you have, yes. Welcome, Tzadakot. I am Tzadeket. I do not know who you are. I can see your name here. 2 minutes, eh? Okay, thank you very much, Rabbi. So, to come to the conclusion, dear friend, because of our time, the Torah, our sages of the Talmud says, Hashem gave us 3 gifts. What are those 3 gifts? The Torah, the land of Israel, and the world to come. All these things are acquired with difficulties and afflictions. I remember so well, Rabbi Pinchas taught us one day and said, if you pursue Torah, prepare to go through suffering. It's from here. Prepare to go with suffering. And if you are not preparing to go for suffering, remember the comfort that you are enjoying, that is the domain of the Shaidim. Are trapped by Shaidim. Do not tell me my business. Do not tell me my job. Do not tell me about my livelihood. Do not tell me my family. I personally left my family. I left my job. I left the country of my birth. I left all the honor that I enjoyed in those days. Yes, I came every day. I'm here. Either sometimes I sleep, my demon is causing me to sleep in the class, and I keep on fighting. My dear Chavrim, I wanted to end here for today. I wanted to end here for today, and the best of Hashem, we will.
You want me to take this?
I wanted to continue.
No.
Continue next week. Best of Hashem is from Yom Rishon. I wanted to thank you, each one of you, for having given me a space to share with you, to learn with you, and best of Hashem will continue on Yom Rishon. I wanted to wish you, each one of you, and your family, Shabbat Shalom. Baruch Adonai leolam, Amen ve'amen.
Amen ve'amen. Toda toda haram. Toda toda.
Rabba.
Merci, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom.
Huh?
Oh,
Yes.
It's gonna start in 2 minutes. Class is gonna start in 2 minutes. So,